This is a game 3 from the third round of this series of the Gamecom Open tournament. It features goldmon versus aznGoodboi. aznGoodboi is actually a Masters player, and goldmon, our hero player, is platinum. The series is now tied 1-1 between these two players, and I don't know if aznGoodboi is actually playing random, but he was Protoss in the last game. He did come back to his sources, his Zerg play, and I must say that his Zerg play was a lot better than his Protoss play, so I think he was off-race with the Protoss and just trying stuff out. So hopefully we'll get a good match here in this fourth game. And goldmon surprisingly taking that second game. Remember, he is platinum and his opponent is Masters, so good game by goldmon. He actually completely out macroed his opponent. He did not get the best trades, but since his economy was so much better, he did manage to eventually overwhelm his opponent that was playing Protoss and had about 15 less harvesters than goldmon. Now this is from the Gamecom Open tournament. It is an open tournament, free to register for anyone who wishes to. We are now in the third round of the tournament, and there are $2,000 in prizes at the end for the top 8 of the tournament, so definitely look for the future games. I will be casting a lot of these since I had a bit of hardware problems. I wasn't able to cast this week, and I have received about 15 games from players in this tournament who want me to cast them, including Vibe, by the way. So we will have a few pro games at the end of this cast. And right now it is on MLG Metalopolis, so there are supply depots and you cannot spawn in close spawn, so that is good for our Zerg player. He will be able to freely expand across his side of the map down here. He is going for that very safe build, a 14 gas, 14 pool, and most likely will just be going into a standard expansion after his speedling opening. You can actually see he again went for a bit of an earlier extractor because he does have 20 gas and he's still mining this gas, so might he go for a baneling bust once again in this game as he did in game 1. We'll just have to wait and see. He will wait for those initial links to pop out before throwing down that baneling nest if he so chooses to go for a baneling bust. It does look like it because he is still mining gas and not throwing down an expansion and not even saving up his money for an expansion. So we will see a baneling bust. So let's wait and see if goldmon will actually be prepared for this. He only has a single barracks walling off, so he will need to wall off with another barracks soon enough if he wants to hold this off. Because if there are no walls, he won't be able to actually hold it off. And still no baneling nest from the Zerg player actually throwing down an expansion, so saving up a lot of gas. So might he be saving that up for mutas later on? We'll just have to wait and see. Very non-standard here. You actually usually see these players take the drones off gas as he just did now, so he did save up 164 gas and just now taking them out. So maybe he'll go for a very fast lair tech. An infestor player or some kind of fast muta rush. We'll have to wait and see. 4 lings in the main base here are gonna pull out some FCVs. I don't think this is necessary since you have 2 marines in the back here. They could have just come up here. And did he get any workers? He did get 1 worker, so that was almost worth it. 4 lings for a worker. I don't think though that he lost any marines. No, he just lost that single worker, so fair trade here. 4 lings for that worker. 4 lings do cost 100 minerals, but that worker does cost him some mining, so eventually it will be worth it. A bunker coming up at the top of the ramp, so he doesn't want any more lings to run by. A roach warren getting thrown down by aznGoodboi, so he might actually use that gas for roaches as soon as that roach warren finishes up. He will have enough for 6 roaches if he so decides to produce them and try and bust down this front door. But with that bunker there, goldmon will actually be very safe here. Now Hellions coming up for goldmon. He might actually be able to harass if he gets those Hellions to the opponent base. Right now he can't stutter because those roaches will come out. And unfortunately they have taken too much time. By the time they get to this space, these roaches will have finished. They are now halfway done, but these Hellions are very late now. and won't be able to do any kind of damage. You can see the harvester count now favoring the Zerg and will stay that way for the rest of the game. Double factory with actually siege tanks and siege mode coming up for goldmon, so stopping the Hellion production at 3 Hellions, throwing down 2 bunkers on the low ground, gonna start that command center. And this, I think, is a small blunder by goldmon. Goldmon, I know you're watching this once again. You should actually start your command center at the top of your ramp before those bunkers go down, and when you're ready to move down with the command center, you actually throw down the bunkers and land the command center. That way, those 300 minerals could actually start your command center right away, because these aren't going to be useful. Your army could actually stay on top of the ramp here, and you could be very safe while starting your expansion already. So your expansion could be started about 30 seconds ago, and that gives you that much more of an edge, and all these small edges are very important. Now just starting to mine more gas is aznGoodboi. He has boomed up in economy, now 37 harvesters. Look for that third base, and there he goes as soon as I see it. And he actually has a lot of minerals, so we'll just have to see what he decides to do with this. He has not produced any more units besides those 4 initial roaches, now just starting a few lings. He won't be able to put any kind of pressure here though, because that siege tank is already up. So this is gearing up to be a very, very macro-oriented game. And look for actually aznGoodboi's advantage to just push forward as this game goes on, because goldmon has not harassed at all in this game, now just harassing with a few Hellions. These roaches will make their way to the expansion though and completely deny those Hellions. And actually goldmon, aznGoodboi, if he is free to get third base like this and a fourth, his economy will start to just boom up. A nice interception here by aznGoodboi. He will be picking off all those Hellions. Trading all those lings though, but lings are dirt cheap, and he does have a lot of minerals saved up, so I do think it would have been a good trade if he actually got those 2 Hellions. Now actually goldmon getting a good trade off of that, getting a lot of lings. He could just reproduce those Hellions, but gearing up to produce a lot of tanks here, so mutas would be very effective right now. And the Spire is almost actually 2/3 of the way done, and actually saving up a lot of gas here. Now just spending a couple gas for centrifugal hooks. So baneling speed, look for that burrow also for those landmines. If it will prevent actually goldmon from pushing out without saving a lot of scans or getting a raven, and you can see there are no starports here, so it will be very dangerous for goldmon to actually push out on the map unless you have a lot of scans and a lot of marines too. There aren't many marines on the map right now. Actually there are only 10, and these mutas could do a lot of damage if he actually does not start marine production, or Thor's soon. The armory is now 3/4 done. He will start a Thor as soon as this is done, but these mutas could do huge damage if they actually make their way across the map before that initial Thor is out. No turrets for goldmon just now, another factory, so he is favoring mech very heavily, but without marines and without Thors on the map, these mutas will be free to actually fly across and pick off pretty much everything here. Now blue flame actually starting for goldmon, so he is gonna go for a pure mech build, which can be very good against the Zerg, but you actually have to get Thors a bit faster than this, because these mutas, there is nothing to stop them from actually going into the main base and picking off a lot of SCVs, because right now there is absolutely nothing goldmon can do here. He will get harassed, and only a few marines now getting out of those bunkers, making their way into the main line. These mutas should actually have focused down these SCVs, because now you can see a lot of them are in the yellow, losing 1 muta, so a bit of a blunder here. She should not lose any mutas. These Hellions doing some harass in the third base, killing off 11 workers actually, so nice little play here. Gonna lose all of these though, and aznGoodboi still producing a lot of mutas, and you can see 18 workers killed. I'm sorry, I was looking at the opposing workers killed. Only 5 workers killed by those Hellions before. and 19 workers killed by